This is CBC Vancouver News.
Vancouver's Chinese-Canadian community fears allegations of foreign interference at City Hall will spark racist backlash.
As long as you're Chinese, then somehow you're not, loyal to Canada and Canadian values, and that concerns me the most.
The Prime Minister's response and the Premier's demand. And a full-fledged bus strike looms in the Eastern Fraser Valley. What you need to know to prepare. Plus, packed bars and pints aplenty.
I suppose when you're being away from Ireland, you're away from home, it's an opportunity to connect with your heritage.
BC bars and restaurants ring in another St. Patrick's Day this year without any COVID-19 restrictions. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Janella Hamilton. Dan is away tonight. Members of BC's Chinese community are speaking out, saying they worry recent reports of alleged election interference could spark distrust towards their communities. Yesterday, the Globe and Mail published a report claiming China's consulate in Vancouver meddled in the polls by using diaspora community groups and grooming candidates. As Yasmin Gandam reports, it's caught the eye of Ottawa and Victoria.
Vancouver's municipal elections now take an interest of the entire country.
When little bits and pieces of uncorroborated, unverified information get put out and people instantly react.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau addressing allegations against Sim in Ontario, defending the results of the Vancouver election.
But if people jump to conclusions and start throwing around allegations, are not only harmful to an individual, it's also harming the very institutions.
The Globe and Mail has reported it viewed a January 2022 Canadian Security Intelligence Service report, which found the former Chinese consulate wanted to elect pro-Beijing politicians to City Council last October. Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim won that election, a rematch between him and incumbent Kennedy Stewart by nearly 37,000 votes. He has denied any interference.
We won. We got the most votes in the history of Vancouver.
Today, BC's Premier echoed the Prime Minister, saying he's asked for a full briefing by the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, but he hasn't received it yet. In a statement to Radio Canada, a CISA spokesperson said that this threat comes not from the Chinese population, but from the Chinese Communist Party, which is deploying a strategy aimed at geopolitical gains on economic, technological, political, and military fronts.
I don't want to see actually that legitimate request actually is evolving or has evolved to xenophobia.
This Chinese immigrant worries these allegations of interference will generate a lack of trust against the Chinese community.
Do we still carry this suspicion that as long as you're Chinese, then somehow you're not, loyal to Canada and Canadian values? And that concerns me the most.
Yan says Sim's win was significant, allowing the Chinese community to see representation in civic politics. And that sufficient proof is necessary to show that Sim's win wasn't the result of a democratic election. Yasmin Gandam, CBC News, Vancouver.
The Chinese consulate in Vancouver issued a statement late Thursday expressing strong dissatisfaction with Canadian media and politicians for smearing and discrediting the diplomatic mission. It called the interference claims utterly groundless and said that instead, Canada and the United States had interfered in China's internal affairs, adding even some Canadian municipal level officials undermined China's territory and sovereign integrity through questions about Taiwan and Hong Kong. BC's police watchdog agency is investigating after a man was shot and killed by Prince George RCMP yesterday. It happened on Highway 97 south of Prince George just before 5 o'clock. Police responded to a man who was reportedly experiencing a mental health crisis. After officers arrived, there was an interaction that ended with an officer firing his gun, hitting the man who later died. The Independent Investigations Office is now looking into what led to his death. The IIO would like to speak to anyone with information or video footage. In Vancouver, police arrested a 30-year-old man in connection with a homicide in Chinatown last month. Surrey's Jal Ruth Queth is charged with second-degree murder in the death of Nikolai Sugak. Sugak was attacked near West Pender and Corral Streets shortly after midnight on February 6th and later died of his injuries. The Vancouver Police Department says it has found no evidence that the victim and Queth knew each other. Queth remains in custody. The allegations have not yet been proven. A man has been arrested in Nanaimo for allegedly threatening people with a toy bow and arrow that had a syringe with a needle attached to the tip. The RCMP says that the 32-year-old man faces a number of charges, including assaulting a police officer and possession of a weapon dangerous to the public. The mayor of Nanaimo says the city is facing a public safety crisis, adding it is beyond his capacity to control or repair. Yesterday, more than 100 people rallied to express their frustration with escalating crime in the city. Transit drivers in eastern Fraser Valley are set to strike Monday.
We've had a 2-day strike, we've had a 3-day strike, and none of those pressures were effective. And so it's come to the point where we just have to fully withdraw services.
The union has been ramping up job action in recent months, from not collecting fares to short stints of workers walking off the job. The union says more than 200 workers are ready to start a full-scale strike. They are demanding higher pay, better working conditions, and a pension. The looming strike leaves some students worried about next week's commute.
On the days that they're just canceled, I find I can't get to school and I can't get to work if I have work that day. I have to do my school online from home and hope that it works out that way, and try and get a ride to work.
It would require me to be here much earlier than expected.
As I have to Uber to get like my groceries and stuff. It's expensive. And
how much does it cost for an Uber?
It's like 10 bucks.
All transit services in eastern Fraser Valley will stop except Handy Dart, which will continue to operate for essential services. The union tells CBC it is open to returning to the bargaining table, but does not expect a resolution by Monday. Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre spoke in Vancouver today, outlining how a conservative-led federal government would tackle affordable housing.
A Poilievre government will link the number of infrastructure dollars a city gets to the number of houses it allows to be completed. Governments that block construction will be fined with clawbacks to their federal infrastructure money. Those that get out of the way, speed up building permits and free up land to build more, will get bonuses.
Poilievre said he would convert federal buildings into affordable housing units. Advocates in BC are pushing for change on caste-based discrimination, a social hierarchy system that has been largely practiced in India. Beneet Breach spoke to one advocate calling for action after landmark decisions in Seattle and Toronto.
The caste system. Have you heard of it? Basically, it's like a social hierarchy in India, passed on through families. It can define what jobs people do, who they marry, and can cause discrimination among a range of faiths. Recently, 2 landmark decisions in Seattle and Toronto are recognizing caste oppression, and some are calling for the same in BC.
My family has experienced caste discrimination right up to today. I have nieces and nephews, future generations, who face it in school, who have had marriages and relationships broken up because of caste discrimination. So it's here, and I think because we don't talk about it, because we don't have the language, and we haven't created the safe spaces to also explore this, that's of concern.
The caste system is largely a South Asian practice. At the top are Brahmins or priests. Among those at the bottom are the Dalits, who were forced into jobs like sewer cleaning. Now, the caste system was abolished in the late 1940s, but people say it's still causing problems, such as stigma over last names, which can indicate your caste, and employees being denied higher wages. People in Seattle will soon be able to sue their employer for caste discrimination. People like Anita Lal hope that the province and school boards create more awareness about caste oppression.
It looks a little like something out of a horror movie when you're riding the SkyTrain traveling along and see a giant spider out of the window. A new art installation is in its eight-legged glory, has spun its web and made itself a home under Commercial Street in Vancouver. Artist Junko told CBC News the installation is created completely out of waste materials collected from city streets, adding there's already plenty of litter lining the train tracks. There is just a more carefully arranged pile of it in his art installation. Ticketmaster is bowing to pressure from rock band The Cure, who are set to perform in Vancouver in June. The company has taken the unusual step of lowering prices and issuing some refunds after frontman Robert Smith lashed out online. As Justin Hayward explains, that has some wondering whether this signals a bigger change for the company.
In a decades-long musical career, The Cure has built a devoted following. In his 2019 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acceptance speech, lead singer Robert Smith made it clear.
Everyone that's bought a record or listened to the music, been to a show.
The fans are the focus.
Yes. Thanks. We love you too. That's the point.
So, Smith made a promise. Verified fans could get tickets for as little as $20 for this year's tour. He worked with the world's largest ticket seller, Ticketmaster, to make it happen. But when the tour hit the U.S., disappointed fans flooded Twitter. Sure, the tickets were $20, but Ticketmaster's fees more than doubled the price. In a tweet, Smith said it sickened him. This broadcaster and music writer says he wasn't surprised.
When I first heard about this, I thought, okay, well, this is going to be another PR nightmare for Ticketmaster, but people are just going to suck it up.
Cure fans aren't the first to lock horns with Ticketmaster. Some Bruce Springsteen fans were faced with prices for his tour that surged above $5,000. A rush for tickets left Taylor Swift fans locked out of her tour. It led to a hearing in the U.S. Senate and a mea culpa from Ticketmaster's parent company just this January.
We need to do better, and we will do better.
Now, under pressure from Smith, Ticketmaster has agreed to refund up to $10 to verified fans.
Hopefully, this is the sort of sea change moment for this battle against Ticketmaster.
This culture writer hopes this is the beginning of a trend.
I hope this is a precedent that we set, right? Where you see that power exists in the artists. Like this is proof that it can be done.
But others point out it won't be easy.
It requires competitive forces to make that happen, and that is hard to accomplish.
Especially if fans are still willing to pay. Justin Hayward, CBC News, Montreal.
Well, in case my green blazer didn't give it away, it's St. Patrick's Day.
But back in Ireland, it's like it's a holy day of obligation. It's like Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving. A lot of family get together, a lot of time for reflection, that kind of thing. So it's a different animal here, but so I guess it means different things to different people no matter where they are in the world, right?
Around this time last year, BC's COVID-19 vaccine passport was still in effect. Pub owners describing this year's celebrations as one of the best.
Everyone's having a good time. We've had live dancers, we've had live music. It's been a really good event, really good turnout. We like to do St. Paddy's Day because it's great for the area and it's just great for the pub and great for everyone else.
And earlier today, we visited Vancouver's Shamrock Bar to see how people are celebrating.
Down among the pigs, played some hardy race, danced some hardy jigs, the water round the run,
It's a great day just to be Irish in general. Everybody celebrates our culture, enjoys the crack, and just has a few beverages.
What's the most popular beverage here today?
What do you think? Water? Guinness? Yeah.
suppose when you're being away from Ireland, you're away from home, it's an opportunity to connect with your heritage and celebrate the day with friends and family and just get outside and enjoy the day. It's a home away from home from me, get to meet my own friends, but it's Irish people have this community thing, it doesn't matter who you meet, especially on a day like today. You say cheers, you can put arms around, sing the same song, and you feel together.
Hey, welcome in, folks. Happy Paddy's Day. That's
Today is the theatrical opening of Rice Boy Sleeps, a film directed by, BC filmmaker Anthony Shim. The film draws on many of Shim's own experiences as a Korean immigrant in the 1990s.
When I was writing it, my concern was that because it's so specific to the Korean-Canadian experience and so personal to my own experiences that I worried that maybe I was isolating audiences and that only Korean immigrants in North America would relate to it, but it's proven to not be the case.
The film follows a single mother and her son who struggled to build a community in Canada. It won the Best Canadian Film Award at the Toronto International Film Festival. Dozens of international students in Canada are facing deportation due to fake school admission letters. Details when we return. Thanks for watching our commercial-free live stream. St. Patrick's Day celebrations started early in St. John's, but there's something that happens in other parts of the world on this day that doesn't happen there. Mark Quinn hit the streets to ask whether the city should have a Paddy's Day parade.
It's not even lunch yet. Have you guys had a drink yet?
No.
Are you telling the truth?
No. Just lying to you.
People in this province take celebrating St. Patrick's Day very seriously. Just ask them, where is the best place in North America to mark the holiday?
St. John's, Newfoundland, George Street, right here.
But one thing is missing. New York City has the world's largest and oldest St. Patrick's Day parade. And Montreal's been holding one since 1824. So should St. John's have one too? These people say yes.
Because it's a St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. What kind of things do you think should be in the parade?
Snake floats.
Yeah, certainly. I think people would show up.
I don't see why not. I mean, it's good for the tourists. I don't know how the locals would like it, but I mean, it could be pretty fun.
Again, back home in the Caribbean, we have a carnival, and it brings in a lot of tourism, and it can boost the economy and generate a lot of jobs for people in multiple ways and help the community a lot. So I think they should have a parade, and everybody will be working and everybody will be happy and paid, man. That's it.
But not everyone agrees. Some say it's unnecessary.
I absolutely do not think we should have a parade. We parade on George Street for about 12 hours, so I think that's enough.
Every day is a parade down on George Street, whether it be Thursday night or, George Street Festival, there's always people down here.
And for some, it's a question of priorities.
Well, then we can't sit in the bar. We're kind of busy on St. Paddy's Day, actually. We're busy.
What are you busy? What are you at?
We're here.
So it sounds like you voted to stay inside on St. Patrick's Day.
Well, we're dancing at 7 a.m. Yes. Having a beer at 7 a.m.
It's the only place to be. St. John's, Newfoundland. It's the only place to be for St. Paddy's Day.
Mark Quinn, CBC News, George Street.
Health Canada says it has received an increasing number of illegal drug samples containing Xylazine. It's an animal sedative not approved for human use. The tranquilizer began emerging in 2019, mixed with opioids like fentanyl, and across the country, the number of Xylazine identifications jumped from 205 in 2019 to more than 2,000 in 2022. Over 20% of these samples were in BC. It's normally prescribed for dogs, cats, horses, and cattle. Xylazine can act as a depressant to the central nervous and respiratory systems. Tonight, dozens of international students in Canada are facing deportation. Schooled missions letters they used to enter the country were deemed to be fake. But as Thomas Daigle reports, the students say they're victims of fraud and want to stay.
When Ravjit Singh landed in Canada, he intended to spend his life here. Now his future is in limbo, and he says he knows who to blame.
I got into contact with a consultant back in India, and then he applied for our visa application. Whatever was on our part, we did everything right.
Singh says he paid that immigration consultant more than $11,000 and received what turned out to be a fake acceptance letter to college. Canadian immigration officials eventually caught on and issued this exclusion order telling him to leave the country. Singh is fighting to stay, but isn't allowed to work in the meantime.
I'm not able to do anything, first of all. Nothing is added to my resume. My career is hampering.
Hundreds of Indian students studying in Canada are now reportedly facing deportation.
The fiasco is making headlines in India, and immigration officials here won't say how many are being told to leave. Other students sent CBC News similar fraudulent letters from separate colleges, also obtained through overseas immigration consultants.
Because of the crookedness or fraud of another person, they are innocent victims. Students trusted the wrong guy.
Some say Canadian border agents bear responsibility too and should have spotted the fake documents in the first place. We asked the immigration minister.
How did Canada Border Services Agency not catch this and prevent these students from going through this nightmare?
I've asked our team at IRCC to look into it to identify the facts underlying the situation. This is extremely serious.
If the students are forced to leave Canada, some have been told they won't be allowed back in for 5 years. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
We take you back to the beautiful sunset this evening over Sunset Beach and Vanier Park. Jules Desjardins will have our full forecast coming up next.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Top of the morning to you. Yeah.
Top of the morning to you.
It started as a holiday to remember the saints who brought Christianity to Ireland. It's blossomed into a celebration of the Irish culture.
What are you serving today?
Traditional Irish stout, Guinness.
No green beer?
No, no. Real Irish people don't drink green beer.
What are you out here to celebrate?
Well, St. Patrick's Day, of course. He drove all the snakes out of Ireland and brought Christianity.
We all came to Canada. And how
they did. We all came to Canada, yeah, that's where the money is.
And for the Irish, the blarney is as much a part of the culture as the beer.
Oh, he's down there, all right. He's in there, you see. Oh, yeah. Every St. Patrick's Day, he likes to come out, right? And he likes to have a sup of Guinness, right? He likes the Guinness.
That's my friend, Patrick.
Is he a leprechaun?
That's a leprechaun.
Every year, he just comes over for the weekend from Dublin.
Oh, really?
He just came in this morning, so he's very tired. He's just very tired. Look at him.
Hey, wake up!
Paddy, say hello.
He's been drinking all morning.
Nah, he's been tired. He's tired. He's been
drinking all morning.
He'll be dancing later, a little later.
But now, are leprechauns real?
Of course they're real. The only people that don't believe they're real are the people in North America. But any Saturday evening about 11 o'clock in Ireland, you can surely see a leprechaun.
Have you seen them before?
Absolutely, especially after a few pints of this.
Why are you wearing this button? Why should people be warned about you?
Warned about me because, you know, I got a twinkle in my eye.
Just over from Ireland, having a good time celebrating St. Pat's Day. Enjoying myself, great city, Vancouver. Really enjoy it here. And the best of luck to all the Irish people here in Vancouver. Thank you.
Land Back is a CBC original podcast where we uncover land theft in Canada and look at how Indigenous people are taking it all back. Land Back is out now on CBC Listen or wherever you get your podcasts.
The weather update is brought to you by Direct Buy Furnace, installing the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
Well, Jules, it was another beautiful day. Is this wonderful sun here to stay?
It will stay a little bit, only for tomorrow, and warmer, still nice, but we had a little bit more cloud this morning. We're going to repeat the same thing with more moisture on the ocean. It will bring maybe a slight chance of shower for the southwest for tonight and tomorrow, but that will clear out again for tomorrow in the afternoon. We still have moisture also coming with a different system up north. We're still protected by the presence of a ridge of high pressure on the central and north of the province. Those are the temperatures we had today. Not bad, very close to the average temperatures that we had at this time of year. Still on the cooler side for Vancouver, but we can see the warm temperatures are starting to pop up here and there. Tomorrow it will be better. We still have some cloud for tonight and tomorrow morning. This will clear out very rapidly in the afternoon, almost for everywhere, even for the northwest, but we'll have some clouds and rain for Sandspit and Prince Rupert in the afternoon, but it can stay nice for Terrace at least or during the day. Temperatures are going to be a little bit higher for tomorrow, 2 to 3, maybe 4 degrees higher than today, much warmer for the interior. We'll have a mix of cloud and sun for the Okanagan and the south of the Rockies up north. It's pretty nice for Terrace, close to 10 degrees for tomorrow. Wind a little bit faster in that area. Some showers also for Sandspit. Nicer for the northeast, finally, for that region. For the next few days, as I told you before, it's going to be a beautiful day, almost the most beautiful day of the year so far, with temperatures of 13 degrees. More cloud Sunday, and after that we'll have some showers, scattered showers for Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures are going to decrease a little bit, but still close to average for the next few days, and it's going to be very great for next week.
Well, it seems like everyone should try and get out tomorrow to enjoy some of that sun before those spring showers. Thanks so much for breaking all that down for us, Jules.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That is your late news on this St. Patrick's Day Friday. Thank you so much for watching. For news anytime, visit our website, cbc.ca/bc. Have a great night.